Okay, we should be live again. Let's check this out. Hopefully, Mike is not echoing. We are back for take 2 of episode 30 or 72. That'll be interesting having to splice this stuff together. I guess that's my problem. But
we have the editing crew. We have the editing crew.
Yes, and I just probably need to turn you down just a little bit over here. Okay. So, anyway, hopefully everyone can hear Mike again. And if
let's give a great 5-minute breakdown of the Crown Point Portage Duel. So probably lost Regent some money because they're not getting those views now.
Yes. Yeah. So, anyway, I'm coming live from Fort Wayne. Obviously, you guys see I've changed locations. If we can only get this to work. I need my comments.
You're listening to it down there. You're listening to it down there, Kim. She said it's still echoing. She said it's still echoing.
Darn it. What is going on here? It's something in my settings here then. Can I mute you on this? I can probably mute you here somewhere.
It's not even an echo. I'm just playing with everybody. You know, it's Thanksgiving. I'm actually saying everything twice so everyone can hear it.
Yes. Microphone, my microphone, speakers. Okay, now let's see. Ask her if it's echoing now.
Is it still echoing, Kim? Should she turn it off?
Oh, tell her to turn it on.
Enough for me at home.
Okay.
I've been trying to tell her for years, Joe.
Yeah. We don't have quite the technology here to make sure we're not echoing. Hopefully we are not, because I hate technology. Okay, there we go. It worked. We're good now. I know what I need to mute you on the Skype call. Hey, we're back.
No, that's the easiest. That was the easiest solution to the hardest problem.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
So should we just pick up where we left off on the first two, or?
Yeah, we've talked enough about that.
So just to recap, we talked about I did a podcast Friday night. It wasn't close.
Take 3.
And then I'm not that I'm disappointed, but I like to see Crown Point at Team State. There were some years I thought Maryville should be there this year. I thought 3 could be there. Now we're back to where we need to be. So
yes.
I think anytime, especially in the rankings, you know, we still have all these like old school people that think like, well, I like to see a freshman prove it first. And I think we're so far past that, and like, because you know you have all these people that are competing year round, and you have Indiana Match preseason open where a lot of these freshmen are working in and getting these match results. So it's not like, well, this is Joe's cousin, and you know we really like him, we're gonna rank him number 1. But it was good for like a bigger audience to be able to see some of these incoming freshmen competing at a high level and, you know, doing well. No, not like how it looked probably when incoming freshmen were in high school. When we were in high school, where guys were looking, you know, sit out, turn in, grab the head, you know, headlock, things like that. But they were doing some pretty high level stuff. They look pretty good.
Yeah. We have a lot more data on kids now. I guess philosophically, I'm not, you know, the national scene, the state scene. It's a lot more public. You don't have to go look in your book like this got right here. We got an Indiana grappler right here, right beside me. You don't have to go look and see. Oh, there's this Jesse Mendez kid. He won ISWA Schoolboy State last year. How we don't have to do that anymore. We can. It's pretty much it's a point and click. The IPO obviously you said it's a good measuring stick, especially for the younger guys, and a lot of people are, you know, and we do use that as a little bit of a ranking gauge. It's you take the results with a grain of salt. They're 2-on-1 matches and backside's 1-on-1, but yeah, it's one of those things that we have so much more data on the kids now. You know, even if they're hitting, you know, I consider, you know, some people say IPO's a national tournament. I guess you can. I mean, you can define it whatever you want, but it's a regional level event. So you're going to see not only those incoming freshmen against our state guys. They're going to see some state placers and stuff that they don't usually see at the ISWA stuff, and so you can really get a good gauge of them against, you know, now guys they've wrestled 16,000 times growing up since they're 4 years old. So
yeah, and I think we've done a pretty good job of knowing who's coming in there and stuff like that.
You are frozen here, it looks like. Are you frozen? Hopefully they're hearing you.
Maybe. I see my picture. That's a good good headshot. I'm gonna use that.
Yes.
Try to get some acting.
Oh yeah. It's technical difficulty night. Let's see if this we can refresh you. There we go. We got you back.
Jake. You'd have to address that to Caleb Spires at Caleb Spires on Twitter. He's doing the 4-win semi-state rankings.
Yes.
Personally, I thought we could have cranked those out, me and Joe, in a night. But hey, man, that's his thing. That's his world.
Nah, he's Caleb's. They should be up in the morning. He texted me earlier this afternoon. Been busy. He's got a promotion at work, so he's been a little bit busy. Been stocking the shelves pretty hardcore. So he's been a little more busy, and they're taking a little bit longer. So they like the intense mic there. So he will be back.
That's as intense as it gets.
Yeah, we'll have the rankings hopefully up in the morning, and then we can, all the 4-win people are gonna, or will be happy. Oh, that says he's frozen again. Don't look frozen on my end. Frozen 2. Oh, Frozen 2. Ah.
That's funny.
That's
funny,
a good
Daniel.
So yeah.
So I mean, obviously that was a big one for the region. Just because that's such a big duel, and the DSC is always a good job, but Crown Point looked really good, man. I thought across the board. I'm excited. I think we talked about it a little bit on the broadcast. I'm sure some people jump in and out, but Brownsburg comes up to the Carnahan. I think Attica's in there also, and Attica has some really good guys too for a smaller school. They have some hammers, so it might not be a straight Brownsburg Crown Point final, but I know they're trying to make that a tougher tournament. So if you guys want to jump in that and maybe get some state rankings love and get some broadcast love, email Coach Brandon Lorick at cp.12. I'm not sure. I don't know what his email is, but I think they're doing a good job with that.
Yeah, there's it's a little bit bigger. Attica's there, Brownsburg. There's Benton Central, Boone Grove, Brownsburg, Central Noble just got in, but they just lost a lot of guys. Crown Point, Heyman Morton's, Hanover Central, Hebron, Marion, North Judson, San Marie, River Forest, and Wheeler. That's the list I have on Indiana Mat. That's kind of what I've gathered from multiple places. So, and we do have. Oh, we actually have a link to Track Wrestling. Let's see if it. I think that might have. That's who I kind of figured it out with the teams. See if anyone else is there. East Chicago, Fairhaven Christian.
Yeah, Fairhaven's there. They're good. Hey, don't sleep on Fairhaven. They're solid.
They beat a couple of solid teams last year, didn't they? At the War on the Wall.
Yeah, they're not going to be like Crown Point, but
Yeah.
Mecos Luce.
Yeah.
Riser Morgan announcing team the best. I appreciate that. He's got the beard going right now, so he doesn't always get to have a beard. So if you see Hector, let him know that beard game's on point.
Yes. So
3 spots open, Joe. I don't know how that Carol schedule is looking, but you can come get some Portillo's.
We got Portillo's open here. We have a Portillo's, and I had a chocolate cake shake tonight for dinner. Yeah, they opened one, and it's technically not open yet, but it's kind of open according to And I had beef sandwich tonight. Yeah, we don't need to go back to Chicago anymore. We have Potbelly's and a Portillo's.
We have some different stuff, man. You come up, we'll get you taken care of.
Yeah, no, we actually looked into it, and we have the World Carroll World Championship Super Duel that weekend. So we host an event, so it'd be a little bit harder for us, and it's something we wrestle a lot of our sectional opponents there, so we get sectional seating and stuff. So it's going to be a little bit hard for us to get there. We looked into it because Coach Lorick sent us an email multiple times, and we're like, oh, maybe we can. And then we look at our schedule because the week before we've kind of looked at something, changing something. But if it was the week before, we probably would be very, very interested in coming over to the region and hanging out.
You guys see the Big Troy House of Pizza, pretty good. Dinger's right. The Region Portillo's get that
Yes.
overflow from Chicago. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, like I'm giving you a hard time. You
Yeah.
guys are gonna see them like possibly 2 times. You see them at Al Smith. You see them at Westfield. So Westfield, that's a grinder, man. That thing's good.
Yeah, that's
I
gonna
was
be a
looking at the
good.
teams on the new schedule, feature on Indiana Matt.
Yes. No, it's pretty nice to be able to, and pretty nice to see the week's events. I always like to, everyone. I know we get I can't remember who usually posts it, but we have the, what's going on this week. Now we just have a post and it has everything, and you can click on the teams and see who's there. So yeah, pretty cool. When he kept doing that, I was like, man, we need a schedule. So I've gone through lots of schedules, and here's a plug. Go check your team schedule, make sure it's right, because I've come across some very interesting ones where teams kind of say they're at events, and then I go to the other team's schedule and they say, no, we're not wrestling this team, and and then sometimes I contact a coach. I go, okay, what's going on with this event? And they're like, oh, this team was in it last year, but they're not in it this year. They kind of just snuck in last year because of a cancellation. Like, oh, okay. So check your schedule, make sure it's right, so that we can, so that someone, especially like this week, a lot of people are coming home from college for spring break or spring break, Thanksgiving break. It's already spring break time. Or, family's home, they're like, hey, let's go check out, any matches coming up. There's some good matches coming on this week, and that way, hopefully the Lawrence Central, Lawrence North duel is going on. They don't end up at Lawrence North on Tuesday and wonder where everybody is. So if anything's changing, send me a message, or we can fix it. Should be some great duels this week. I'm kind of interested in a lot of them. Locally, you have the Columbia City Belmont one should be very interesting. Columbia City had a real good match. They beat Prairie Heights this week, and they looked pretty solid top to bottom. Columbia City does for a 2A, and then Belmont's going to have a pretty solid team. They have some guys returning, so that should be an interesting one. If you want to go there, it should be on the radio. If you tune into WZBD, BZD.
Yeah, I heard WZB. I heard they're possibly getting a new wrestling broadcast too.
Yes,
Shout
they are
out
great.
to Dane.
Yep, I got to talk to Dane a little bit more, but him and Rex Brewer are going to be doing a podcast a few times, and we're going to actually host it on our podcast network. And so it'll be uploaded there when they're done. That way people can listen to it afterward. Because if you don't catch stuff live on WBZD, you don't catch it all at all. Which I always I love listening to Rex and AJ. They love wrestling, and they always, it's always fun to hear them, announcing matches and stuff. So I always, if there's a duel going on and they're on the radio, I'm going to listen to them because they're always fun to listen to. They get into it. They're a little bit of Belmont homers, but you can't. It's not a bad thing.
No. Why did you do quotations around network? Is it not a real network?
We're not quite a network yet. I mean, we can start having some more shows, maybe. I mean,
the 3 Bs?
Yeah, we got Triple B. We can just have him talk all talk about the South, give the South some love. Speaking of the South, Madison defeated Southwestern for the paddle, and I know we retweeted that. That's a big trophy.
Yeah, who's taking? Do they have to have it shipped to the school, or do they take that on the bus? What's up?
I don't know. You can't put. You're not supposed to put stuff in the aisles on the buses. I know that, so I don't know. Maybe Madison breaks some laws. I know they're they're not always the most law-abiding citizens down south, but yeah, that was a big trophy. So we should. That was a pretty good. The other big matches? Hobart and Munster did not wrestle. Oak Hill beat Huntington North. The battle for around here. That's Oak Hill should be a pretty solid 2A team. The 2 big tournaments.
Obviously, we had Capital City and. Are we just talking duels?
No, anyway, the tournaments. You had Capital City, and you had the John Hurley this weekend. Both. I mean, there's some guys at some interesting weights that we saw. That's one thing I know.
Yeah,
we were talking about in our group chat.
Just as a side, as I'm looking on the results from track wrestling on Saturday. Is there 2 Rex Levitt duels?
No, there's only one. I think teams when they go to track,
is there one at Elwood? Is there one?
Elwood? Yeah, it's the Elwood duel. So if you look at the Elwood duels, when you on track when you put when you create your schedule, some people call it the Rex Levitt duels, some call it Elwood, and so then when say Delta put it as the Rex Levitt duels, and then Frankton put it as Elwood duels, it kind of messes things up. So you gotta. It's very interesting when you're doing or the Elwood invite as someone you put. So it's just it's the same thing, but yeah, when you're doing your schedule, sometimes people name things differently. So yes.
Yeah, I was like, man, like these guys are gonna run the same tournament on the same day. These dudes are savages.
Yeah. No.
John Hurley obviously had some. It sounded like some action there, some extracurricular action. I mean, that's when you know that the board's waking up. You get some posts like that. You got to get a lock going.
Oh yeah. That's probably our fastest lock since the season start. Since season start, the locking a topic. So, yeah.
Yeah, obviously, that's the best way to get, a ban or a time off or a thing locked when you start directly, you could say, people, but, when you start directing it at people or officials, it's generally not the best.
Yes. We've been known to be kind of mean with moderation, but we're talking about kids here, and and or refs, that people that we need refs. I just was talking with Chuck Barnett, and he's like, in about 5 years, you're going to have about half the refs are going to be retiring because they're all 70 or older, and we need refs, so we don't want to publicly bash them and things like that. So, and then we also want our kids to not be publicly bashed on message boards either, so that's not cool.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it sounded like it was getting rowdy there. I mean, I wasn't there, so I'm not gonna speak to what it was, but those guys know. Obviously, they went on there, they made their point, and then you can't just keep it going like that. So that's how you get things locked out. But it sounded like it was a good day of wrestling overall. I mean, a lot of talented teams. Warren Central is one of those teams that looks really good top to bottom, especially really good in the middle.
Yes, very much. And we've talked about this more than once about they're going to be. They have about 6 138 pounders and about that, and they got to get them all in the lineup because they're all pretty darn good. And so some people really cut some weight, and some are going to be wrestling a little bit undersized. But yeah, they're going to be as long as they can hold that, they'll be good.
Luke Goodwin got a win over Javan Ross. So that's a good win for him. I know that he's been on the watch list for a while, and I know he does a lot of wrestling. I think he was at Indiana Mad. I know he's at ISWA stuff, so that's a really good win for him. 145, that's a good match. Jawan Anderson and Reese Lallman from Hamilton Southeastern.
Yeah, no.
And then, Warren Central looked good.
Yeah, one of the most surprising one was a backup 6-pounder from Perry won it at 106 because that was their B team there. That's pretty good for them. Any other big? I know Warren, I think, is probably missing a couple of their bigger guys since they were playing football recently. They're heavyweight.
They still had some guys in there. It'll be interesting to see where Hernandez and Hubbard fit in. Hernandez rested up at a heavyweight, won it by attack. He didn't win. He didn't win it, right? He won a different one.
Yeah, Hernandez won heavyweight. He teched his guy in the finals, 27-12. Not much.
I was thinking of Capital Cities where Franklin Central's at.
Yeah.
So he didn't beat Antoine Alexander.
No, Alexander beat Munoz. That was a pretty good. Munoz was a state qualifier last year. Alexander is pretty solid too. I think he won freshman sophomore. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah. He's ranked pretty high. A lot of respect for that guy.
Yeah, so there should be heavyweight's going to be an interesting weight class.
There was without a guy too. They were without their 220, so it'll be interesting to see how those guys kind of fit everybody in too. They're pretty good up top.
Yeah, Yeah, no, Franklin Central's pretty tough up top, and Aiden Warren. I didn't know there was another Moscone. Is that one? Was he at Cathedral for a little bit too, or is this a different Ernest?
I don't know. I heard he gave him a tap on the behind. That I don't know how like aggressive that was, but that's funny. Like when I read that, I laughed. I literally laughed out loud. Like how could you be mad unless it was like an aggressive thing? It sounded like they were just getting at it.
Yes. So, anything else on this past week? I've kind of been jumping around a little bit.
I mean, maybe a couple more. A couple ranked matchups. Like when you're in the first week, you're getting some ranked matchups. You know, Alex Cotty, Dylan Driver, Westfield was ranked. Carson Aldred being at 120. That's crazy, man. He was 120 last year. I thought I didn't think he looked undersized there. I mean, that's a good spot for him. I mean, Zeke Seltzer is really good. So I mean, you're going to be in a way with a really tough guy coming out of your semi-state, but you know, you'll probably be in a good situation where you could possibly be on opposite sides of that bracket. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean. They might be in the same regional. Maybe not. No, maybe they're not.
I did some lazy ranking on Cameron Allen. I think I had him at 113. What he was last year, he was 126. You know, at 2 weight classes, so that's on me.
Yes. No. I didn't realize there was a double forfeit at 132. That's interesting. Curious what happened there. Why they Merkel and Connor Holt, were they friends?
I don't know. There was some interesting like resulting on this too. I think there was like some people that were losing behind forfeits.
Yes, yes, there was a forfeit that placed sixth and one kid placed seventh. I felt bad for the kid. Some misbracketing there, so. Kid got seventh. And
Owen Seago won at 170. I think I had him ranked at 60. That's a bit of climb. I want to say Owen Seago started as 106.
Yeah. He was cutting, and I know they said he was cutting pretty hard at 106, and now he's up at 170. That's I mean, he might be. I mean, he's on the south side, so he might be sneaking over to Mama Warren's house for some dinner.
We did confirm that she's out here cooking meals.
Yes. We got invited over there. So if we're on the south side, there's a open buffet. I asked to go over for Thanksgiving, but I don't think I'd be able to make it home. Might be a 3 day. That might be a 3 day long binge. So.
But definitely a lot of those early on you're looking for good matchups, and obviously that was a great day. So those two are two of the ones that kind of kick it off in the region. Like the early tournament is going to be Harvest Classic, which is coming up.
Yeah, this weekend should be starting to heat up a little bit. Tournament-wise, duels and stuff. I'm looking. The War on the Wabash. That. I'm not sure exactly who's all there. That's usually a pretty solid. I mean, they usually have a lot of matches, so you can get a little bit of a gauge as long as they report their results. The Homestead Super Duel, that should be decent. You got Northridge, Homestead, and someone's texting me. Paramedians JV team.
He said they hit heads and they both weren't able to continue at 32. I said, well, that's not as funny.
No.
Hopefully those guys are all right.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think usually you see a double forfeit in like college when two guys on the same team wrestle. That's I'm sure that's a first there. There's a little bit going on this weekend. You got Chesterton's heading over to the Ted DeRusi invite. That's usually a pretty solid event for them, I think.
In Illinois, yeah. They've had some good ones over there.
Yeah, and I know we have some. There's some. Chesterton has some pretty solid guys up top. Got a Colorado State qualifier that's going to be at 82, I believe. And then the word on the street is Ellis is going to be down to 45. Is that what it sounds like, possibly? So
that's what they had on their track wrestling. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, he wrestled to 45 this summer. I thought he was pretty big at 52, but I mean, maybe he wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's definitely good for him. I mean, he's gonna be a contender at any weight. He's really good.
Yeah. Chesterton has their roster. Darn it, you can't see the rosters. I was checking out the track wrestling. It is on track wrestling, so you can check that result. Those results this weekend if you want to. Should be some. I mean, that's a good. They usually get a lot of good matches over there. I know. I think both. There's a ton of teams there. So it's one of those things that if you guys for teams to look at, check out when they during the weekend.
And,
what were you saying?
yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of Illinois teams: Antioch, Aurora, Bloomington, Burlington, Carpentersville, Dundee, Deerfield, Grays Lake, Lake Forest, Lake Villa, Lake Village, Little Village, Lawndale, Mundelein, Park Forest, Plainfield, Rock Falls. So definitely a lot. And some of those guys, I mean, I don't know how my Illinois rankings aren't as keen, but I know that some of those teams have had guys in the national rankings before, like Wheeling had Max Nowak a couple years ago.
Yeah, so should be, we're starting to heat up, kind of excited. It's that time of the year where, we're starting to get rankings, get the, see the guys in action that we've been wanting to see, and answering some questions on weights and what lineups are looking like. Hey, let's see. Cathedral wrestle Lawrence Central, I believe, on Tuesday. That should be. Lawrence Central has a few solid kids. I mean, Cathedral should run through them, but there should be. Lawrence Central will have some scrappy kids there.
Yeah, you could have Antonio Jefferson and Zeke Seltzer.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that should be a good one. Plainfield and Avon. There might be some. There should be some good matches there. Avon. I mean, Plainfield has some pretty solid kids. Sounds like Logan Bow is back at Delphi.
No, not at Delphi. He's not going to Fort Wayne. Danville.
Danville. Yeah, I knew it started with the. So, I must have already changed him, or somebody did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, that's interesting, and his brother's going to be is still at Plainfield. So there's going to be might be some, maybe they get to wrestle each other. That'd be fun.
That's what I said, man. They're probably about the same weight. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Mooresville, Center Grove, I think would be good. I don't know if Mooresville's gonna be good, but Center Grove, I think is gonna. They have some guys that are in some interesting spots too. I'll be interested to see how their lineup shakes out. Westfield, Mount Vernon, Fortville would be a good one.
Yeah.
I think Mount Vernon, Fortville has been doing a very good job coming up. So.
Yeah, they just got done with football too, so they're going to be out a few guys. But I think they wrestled this weekend. Most of their lineup. Obviously, it's with football. They always, do you reschedule or do you just roll with what you have and play that game? They rolled with what they have, and it sounds like they'll probably do it. Yeah. I mean, scheduling is so tight, especially when you have a football team that does pretty well. So that should be interesting to see. What they roll out. They might be a little bit thin up top. I know we would be if we didn't if we had to do that with our guys. If we only rolled with our team like that. Okay. Oh, Logan Bow is there. I must have changed him. Let's see. Fishers Noblesville might be if Noblesville had a pretty good day. I think Fishers were they second at they were second at the John Hurley, which is pretty solid. I mean they were over Hamilton Southeastern by about 30 points, so that should be an interesting match. I think both teams
Hamilton Southeastern was missing a couple guys too, though, right? Irick did not wrestle.
Irick didn't wrestle. Their heavyweight though placed like third, I think, that they scored for Hamilton Southeastern. So it wasn't. I mean, even with Irick, they weren't going to score too many. They weren't going to have enough probably to overtake Fishers. So that's Fishers kind of went down a little bit. I think they're going to be back. They had some pretty solid guys there. Prairie Meridian, Whiteland, Greenfield Central, Prairie, Pendleton Heights, Plainfield. Do they really have 2 matches this week? Wow. Is that right?
Trying to get him in early, man.
Well, that's what I have. So we'll see if they really wrestle those matches. That might have been an error by me, but we'll see. Yeah, so it should be some good wrestling this week. Any other news of note before we can talk about our fun wrestlers of the decade?
No, I don't think so.
Nothing too not too much news going on here.
No, it's still early, man. We got these kind of rolling early on. And obviously we were lucky to do the duel early with Portage and Crown Point, but I think that overall, like, as it gets going, you have those ones that, Capital City, John Hurley, that went on, but, as it gets going, you'll get a lot more exciting matchups.
Yeah.
Thank you to all the teams that are using track wrestling. I mean, not everyone out there is doing it, but the teams that are, I appreciate you guys.
Yes. It makes life a lot easier. And reporting your results on Indiana Mat, that makes life easy also. Don't forget, if you do have an individual result, you go into results, and you go individual results. We had some people putting in some stuff this week. Put in those results there. Those auto-magically will show up on the wrestlers' profiles and such. So if you have that kind of stuff, do your wins and losses, Mike Morgan. I know Mike Morgan forgets that his kids lose once in a while.
Yeah, that's what the best coaches do. Coach Morgan does a good job.
Yeah. I like to give Morgan a good hard time. The all-decade team, Chad Red won it on the Twitter poll, so he is officially the designated gorilla. That was Chad Red's sophomore year. Same year he won Fargo. He DNP'd in the preseason at Super 32, but then won it the next year. So it wasn't like he was obviously DNPing at the Super 32s. No, I mean, there's a lot of good guys that have done that. You got Brock Hudkins, Drew Hildebrandt, who has had a pretty solid year so far. Brandon Nelson, Kyle Erzman. The word on the street is Nelson used to beat Erzman in the practice room at Purdue. And I tried setting up a match with them to kind of settle it once and for all. And Erzman's nursing a shoulder injury, I guess, is what he said. So they got Paul Petrov, DeAndre Wilson, Caden Rooks, Hunter Watts, and Braden Lytell. What were you gonna say?
Lot of votes. I mean, obviously these are all gonna be really tough. So that was Hudkins. That was the year he won. That was a crazy weight, man. That weight was nuts. Yeah. 2015. Drew Hildebrandt had a good run. It's tough. Second best wrestler in his family, right?
Yes.
Tough.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that disqualifies him. And then, like I said before, like the year that Petrov won in 2012 was one of the better. That was one of the better finals matches. That was an awesome match. But I mean, obviously, Kyle Erzman had an amazing career. 3 championships. What do you have? 2 losses?
Like 3 or 4
one
losses.
One in the semis as a freshman.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 losses.
No, he lost one.
He lost to Beck like at least twice, maybe 3 times. But he only had he either had 3 or 4 losses, and like one minus that was all the Mishawaka guys coached by Derek Snyder. Guess who he's coaching with right now? So,
yeah. Like one was Dusty Keefe in the semis one year.
Yeah.
Like from Franklin, right? Then Dusty Keefe left. And then I thought he lost to Petrov once. I thought he only had the 2. I mean, I know there's a site that we can do this on, but I'm looking at Twitter, and that site doesn't have it.
Twitter doesn't have that? What?
DeAndre Wilson, the year he won it, he beat Drew Hughes, which is, obviously he's gone on to have a ton of success. Caden Rooks has been really good. Lytell last year was really good. So, but Chad Red, I mean, 76% of the vote in his bracket, and then when he came up, 66, pretty good, man.
Yeah. No, that's a hard.
Chad had an amazing career.
That's a hard one to do because they're also even, and a lot of those aren't. It wasn't their senior years, so it's a little bit harder to kind of gauge. Obviously a Red sophomore year. Had a real good year. I mean, he won Fargo, so that's pretty good. That's Hildebrandt's senior year. I guess Nelson's senior year. Hudkins' junior year. I mean, Lytle, he's going to be the one that we talk about for a while that, he could have been a four-timer. I mean, he definitely could have if injuries and stuff didn't get in the way. And last year he placed at Fargo. He placed at Fargo in the preseason, and then placed at Super 32. So obviously showed that he was, on that level. Which
his loss at Indiana Met was the Mendez. It was a tight one.
Yeah, and then won it this preseason. So yeah, it's one of those things that you're like, where does he fit in? I mean, he's definitely one that can make a big. I mean, I always look at the national stuff, national rankings, national placements. Super 32, Fargo are usually the two ones you try to keep your eye out on. Obviously Nelson and Erzman, Super 32 wasn't. It was pretty good, but it wasn't quite hit Indiana at that time. I believe maybe Petrov might have went out there. I want to say he maybe did. Because that was kind of the start of, the kind of infiltration. But, Rooks, two-timer, Watts, was a four-time placer, all top three? What did he do his freshman year? Yeah, so he's pretty darn good. So, yeah, Red winning Fargo probably is one of those ones that you kind of look at and say, yeah, that's probably it.
And that year he had an awesome match in the final too, right? That wasn't like he steamrolled Florence Glukowski.
Yeah, yes, that was a heck of a match.
I know that. See, like that's the like hot button topic. Now we'll get 7 comments about like how Chad faked an injury or something.
Yes.
What was the big comment then?
Yes, because they got in that really weird, funky scramble. And that looked bad, to tell you the truth. That looked real bad. And it's like, oh, geez. I mean, you don't want to see a kid tear a knee up or anything right there. Let's see.
Come on, Joe. Kyle Erzman, 193-2.
193-2? What?
Yep, 49-1 as a freshman. Lost in the semis. 40-1 as a sophomore. I want to say he lost at the Al Smith final.
Yeah, to Beck.
To Paul Beck, yeah.
Yes. So half his losses were to. I thought he had like 3 or 4. Seemed like a lot more.
No, I remember he got Paul Beck after that.
I'm sure I'm gonna get some. I'm sure he'll be sending me messages of hate mail and all that. Yeah. So.
When you're a White Sox fan, you don't do that. But I don't know. He's also a Minnesota Vikings fan, so maybe he does.
Yes. How is he a Minnesota Vikings fan? He's from the region. What is that?
I don't know. Came up in the time of AP, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to get Kyle Erzman on someday and ask him what his favorite Minnesota Vikings player is.
Oh, yes. So.
If it's not Randy Moss, then he's not a real Vikings fan.
Let's see. Who did Erzman have that? Oh, no. Yeah. 2013. Oh, that's DeAndre. Let's see. I have this cool website that has all the brackets and stuff on there. Kyle Erzman, 119. Yeah, he beat Levi Moss, Josh Farrell, who was a state champ, Josh Pierre. Beat Campbell in the finals. Chandler Carroll, pretty good in his weight class. Adam Garcia, not related to Asa. Yeah, that's a pretty good weight class there.
Griffith's head coach, Adam Garcia.
Yeah, Luke Welch was in there. Luke Welch lost in the quarters. Yeah, that's a pretty good weight class there. Which other one were you talking about? The weight class that 2000.
Hudkins one.
Hudkins would have been which year? That would not have been that year. 2014. Nope, that's Red's year. 2015.
Rock Hudkins. Yep, 2015. I thought that was a really good weight.
You got Hunter Langlow, who's doing pretty well at Tiffin University. You got Cornelius and Elliott, Ben Kaufman, Will Egley, Brendan Black, Bailey, Jeremiah Rates, Kyle Hatch, Sawyer Miller, the way better Miller brother by that's pretty good weight class. Let's see, you have Hudkins was a 2-timer. Cornelius Elliott was a couple-time placer. Brendan Black was a state champ.
Pretty good coach over there.
Yeah. Bailey was a state champ. Wrights was a state champ. Miller was a runner-up, national champ, NAIA national champ. So, pretty good weight class there. So.
Yeah, I thought that one was. I always remember, obviously we're getting in those two spots where I feel like those perfect storm weights where you start getting guys that are multiple champs in there. Obviously, Watts, didn't win it, but won as a junior, didn't win as a senior. But you're gonna start getting guys like that. Those are the weights that where everyone kind of combines. You get those good 6s or 3s that are coming up to 119, 120, and 126, and 125 back in the day.
Yeah, and then you had Tyler Ferguson in there. He's the one that he beat Wrights on Friday night. 2 state champs.
That match was awesome.
Yeah, 17-13. You had 2 state champs that didn't even place. Then you won. Black and Wrights both didn't place there, and that was a crazy weight class. Definitely one of those. You almost have to give it to him there.
Yeah. Obviously, you have guys that they look at the body of work, like Chad's 4 titles. You're gonna get a lot of love, and Chad was really good that year. And obviously, he beat the year that Chad won it. Glukowski was really good, and he had a really good tournament. But I don't know if it was the 120 was as deep as it was when Hudkins won it.
Yeah,
Hudkins might have been in the year when Chad won.
Oh, that was the
year Chad won it. There was the year Hudkins injury defaulted Friday night after weighing in.
Yes, I'm just looking at that bracket right now. That's where Black got the forfeit on Friday night against Hudkins, and then Gagowski had to wrestle Black. That was, and then you had Alex Johnson over. That was a crazy Friday night at that weight because Alex Johnson beat Jake Sinkovics Friday night. Sinkovics ended up being an NAIA champ. You have DeLawrence Gayfield. The Pride of Concord beat Matt McKinney on Friday night there. Gagowski beat Jacob Cotty there. Man, that was a weight class that, you had Connor Knapp, who's a 3-time placer. That's Bailey LaHue was one that, always had a lot of. And, Red beat Brad Laughlin, who was a state champ. That's Laughlin's freshman year on Friday night. So that's kind of a weird weight class because there's a lot of guys that maybe didn't have quite the careers that everyone thought they would do, or that's a interesting weight if you look at it. So you had Singovics, who was an NAIA champ. You had McKinney, who was a runner-up to Brayton, right?
Dude, I was looking at the picture that Nick sent me of his cat. I'm sorry.
Nick's good. They both nice. So there we go.
Yeah, he put it on the comments on my Facebook. So if you're wondering how Nick's cat's doing, go ahead and check that out. And definitely, those are like I said, those are awesome weights. I think that Hudkins' weight was one of those ones that was always crazy. Slivka's in the house. Donna though. Donna.
D-Sliv.
Not Jordan. D-Sliv.
We like the Slivkas. Good people.
Yeah, they're awesome.
So,
even the year that DeAndre won it, like we said, he beat Drew Hughes. That's also weight Adam Garcia was in. Because I remember Drew Hughes had a really tough Al Smith that year. Because I think he went into the Al Smith as a freshman as a 7 seed and won it.
Yeah. Yes. He was an 8 seed. They didn't want to see
even better.
Yes.
But not to kill whoever was doing the seeding thing. So I'm sure someone to tell him. But they were probably let's wait to see how well he does. If he's his freshman, he's really good. No, we knew he was really good. He should have been the 1 seed.
Yeah.
He won it. We knew he was gonna be really good. Even they were well, this kid's a semi-state qualifier. This kid's a nationally ranked wrestler. He's he's winning matches on the national scene, not just your regional, your normal regional.
Yes. Now, I was looking at another. Oh shoot, where did I missed it? There it is. Drew Hildebrandt's year. Where'd it go? There we go. He beat Gagowski in the quarters. Graham Rooks in the semis. You also had Blake Mulkey. Jeremiah Wright was there. Another pretty solid weight. I mean, that 120 is always one of those weights that you're gonna have a lot of guys with a lot of credentials. Christian Hunt Rooks was Friday night there. Hunt was a 2-time runner-up, 3-time placer. Yeah, you're just looking at all those weights and you're like, wow, those are some pretty good weights. So you're never going to get a bad weight at 120. Next week we have 126/125 as a little bit of a preview. I'll check. You got Jesse Mendez from last year. He's going to be a lower seeded just because he's a freshman. You got Alec White, Micic as a senior, Kyle Erzman as a senior, Asa Garcia junior year, Nick Kroom senior year, Brandon Wright senior year, Brock Hudkins senior year, Chad Redd junior year, and Jared McKinley senior year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's really good, but I mean,
Yes.
think about
that is an
that was the year
weight.
Stefan beat Nick Lee in the semis,
Majored him.
which majored him. Yeah.
Not just beat him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Majored him in the semis, which, like, looking back, isn't that crazy that wasn't under the lights? Like,
Yeah.
as a state, that was a travesty. That should have been under the lights.
Yes.
The year Alec White won it, and obviously every week I always say, like, hey, like, Alec White might be the guy that, like, gets overlooked in that, but, like, he put on a run because that weight was stacked.
Yes, he did.
That was a stacked weight.
Yes. I mean, I can probably pull it up here. What Alec White would have been
'Cause-
2017.
Because that was coming senior year.
Yeah. He. Oh shoot. No, yeah, there. 2017. Yeah. Alec White. We had. Let's see. He beat Cummings, first round. Oh geez. Then he beat Matt Lee. Graham Rooks in the court. He beat Cummings, Matt Lee, Graham Rooks, and Blake Mulkey. The worst kid, technically the worst kid
Yeah.
he wrestled, was the finals against Blake Mulkey.
Yeah.
You had
Isn't that unbelievable?
yeah,
And
you had Slivka in there also, who's a 2-time champ. De La Pena. Let's see, Reese Rodriguez was a couple-time placer. Matt Gimson was there. He didn't play that quarter bracket. White, Cummings, Gimson, and Matt Lee.
Yeah, not bad.
Yes.
Not bad, guys.
There's let's see, White was a couple-time placer. Cummings, two-time champ. Gimson was a 3-time placer. Lee was a 3-time placer. Yeah, that'd be a good semifinal, let alone first quarter.
Yeah, and that could be your 125 right there, but that's just his bracket for his title.
That's just
I would
him
say-
get to the semis. To wrestle Graham Rooks,
Yeah.
who's a 2-time champ. Yeah, that's crazy.
So
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to the votes on that one. Definitely, I'll try to get that out a little bit earlier with
and-
Thanksgiving.
I don't think that the craziest thing about this is there's not like a wrong call.
No.
Like there's not like, and we text back and forth like, man, I can't believe like people are choosing whoever over this guy. But it's like whoever you felt like was the guy, like that should be it. But I think like when I look back at it, it's like, I think Jeremiah when he was a freshman won it at 103, or it might have been 106 then. That was a stacked weight. There was like multiple Division I guys in that weight.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if he won his voting bracket.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a little bit of a popularity contest, but it's also those guys know. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I wouldn't know who I don't get to vote since I can vote on my other Twitter handles, but I don't. Actually, I do. I vote against Erzman. I'm sorry. I'll admit that. No.
I think I mean, I'll always I vote every time. I have no like quarrel like telling people who I voted for. I think
Yeah.
that that's my opinion. But like the Jeremiah Reed's 106 pound weight, or it was 103, was like a who's who of Division One wrestlers. And it's like all these guys that we're talking about on the list, and I don't even know if he won like his bracket on the Twitter because he beat Paul Conrath, who wrestled at Wisconsin, who's at IU, and Bailey's in that weight, who wrestled at IU for a little bit in Northern Illinois. Hutkins was in that weight. Um, who else?
Yeah,
Colton Cummings was in that weight.
Kyle Hatch, Alec White, Bailey, Cummings, Hunter Langlow, Drew Hildebrandt, and Conrath. Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many Division One, like not counting like Tiffin, like where Langlow's at, and who had like an awesome Friday night win, and not counting Wabash is doing really good and Hatch is doing really good there. But you're talking like Division One guys. You had Conrath, Hildebrandt, Jeremiah was at Duke, Cummings is at Army,
Bailey and White. So yeah.
Bailey and White. So 6 Division One guys in one weight class.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, no, I'm kind of looking forward to this week. This one might, it's kind of funny having Airsman and Nelson kind of talking a little bit of trash. Hey, don't you remember what happened in the Purdue wrestling room? That was a couple years later, but it's always nice, have some fun with it. It's just kind of neat to see, and people, like Brandon Wright might be the best guy there. Obviously there's some just hammers. He was a Fargo champ. He was darn good. He won the U.S. Open a couple years ago. So he's
still really
grinding.
good.
So yeah, he's gonna be one.
Yeah.
He might get some of that Cathedral love since he's hanging out there now. But yeah, no, he's
I mean, like even like Jesse Mendez was the number 1 ranked guy in the country.
Yes.
He went to who's number 1.
Yes.
Like that's Brandon Wright was up there. He was a Fargo champ. Is Jason in that one also? Cercis?
No, I think Jason would have been 2009 at that weight. Let me see. I think he won 2009, which would.
He was really good there.
Yeah, he won 125 in 2009, so he was a year off. So
those guys lucked out because he beat Cash Kyorga in the semis that year.
Should I just throw in
next year? Cash is we should do that as a side one. Whoever wins it, Jason Cercis at 125. And this is like one of the craziest things is that he beat Cash Kyorga in the semis. Cash goes as a true freshman, is in this like the quarters.
Nope, semis.
At the NCAAs.
Nope, it was the semis.
The semis at the NCAAs.
Yes.
Less than a year later, a freshman Jason Cercis beat a guy that was wrestling in the semis at the NCAAs.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that should be.
And I think when we get to like, what was Jason as a senior? 145?
Yeah.
I got some more for that because Jason at 145 as a senior beat Darian Caldwell that summer, who had beat Brett Metcalf.
Yeah. We don't even want to touch. The 145 is just stupid. I don't even want to look at that. When you have, goodness, you have Cercis, you got Kuvac, junior year, Joe Lee, sophomore year.
Not senior year.
Eric Roach, junior year, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Cody LeCount, senior year. That's the year he beat Forte. Some Brayton Lee
returning
kid.
champ.
I don't know who Brayton Lee is. I don't know. This Brownsburg kid. I don't know. He must have snuck his way to a title. Another Eric Roach. I guess we got both Eric Roaches, junior and senior year. Neil Malloy, who was pretty darn good. Jordan Slivka. Matt Lee. Yeah. I'm going to make sure I put Matt and... I'm going to put, actually, Joe, Brayton, and Matt on one vote. Just to make sure we get Lee in the finals.
Are you tagging them in this?
I did a little bit last week. I'm gonna probably start doing it this week, just because this one's gonna be fun. Just because there's a lot of there's gonna be, hopefully they get some trash talking going, and get some, pedal for some votes here. So yeah, yeah. No, it should be. I'm looking for these next few weights. 132. 130/132 is going to be pretty good. You got Red, Surtsis, Nick Lee, Graham Rooks, DeAndre Wilson, Braden Bailey, Asa Garcia. A lot of those are seniors or juniors, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah, those are good. That was a good one.
Yeah. And then you got the next couple ones are going to be pretty interesting to see here. So I'm hoping we I'm kind of looking forward to 220 because we're going to have 3 Mason Parrises, and I want to know which Mason Parris wins.
Probably the last one. I don't know. They're all really good, and he's really good now.
Yes, yes. He had his weekly installment of beating Matt Stencil today. If they don't wrestle,
and then you'd probably have 2 of the best athletes to compete, like a Mason Parris who was a freak, and then a Jalen Robinson who was a freak also.
Yeah. So, any other fun topics in our very interesting show of lots of Mike's echoes and technical difficulties?
Sounds like it's going to be the Calumet Warriors versus Gladiators on 11/26. Got my AJ Fowler State Championship shirt on for the
nice.
Warriors this week. I don't see how they finished up. I seen they beat Elkhart Memorial. We were talking a little bit about that.
Yeah, you got the Warsaw Super Duels. A lot of you got Elkhart Memorial and Elkhart Central that were both there. Just as a heads up for people that aren't kind of in the Fort Wayne area, Elkhart Memorial and Elkhart Central. This is the last year they'll be separated. They were split many years ago, and now they're going to be rejoined. So that's going to be a huge school. So this is the last year of both schools being. I think they're going to wrestle for. I don't know I don't know the exact how they're doing everything, but I know it's kind of going to be a mess as far as combining teams and such. So that should be very interesting. So if you guys do see an Elkhart Memorial or Elkhart Central this year, next year they will just be back to being Elkhart. So
yeah, they just had their vote in Hammond too. They're going to close 2 of the Hammond schools. Joe Hanson had just sent it to me also. I don't know how they're going to break that up. I think they voted to close Hammond Clark, who was one of Lake County's only state champions back in the day, in the 30s, and Hammond Gavitt, who's done a really good job the last couple of years. So I don't know if they're going to combine Gavitt and Morton, and then Hammond High. I know they're building a bigger Hammond High, so should be interesting how that works out also.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to them a little bit last year because Elkhart Central was in our Super Duel at Carroll, and I'm like, so what are you guys doing? And they weren't exactly sure what was going on, which was kind of scary to not know kind of who's going to be the head coach or what's exactly going on there. So I'm kind of Fort Wayne wise, it's going to make some things interesting because that sectional is only 8 teams, so someone's going to get pulled into that sectional, and that's the Elkhart Central. So you could see a Penn go there all of a sudden, which would be very, 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 very interesting.
You want Penn to go out there and dominate you guys?
That's one of those areas that are they going to pull from that Westview sectional, or are they going to pull a team from the region? Are they going to put a Penn or a South Bend Riley, or are they going to pull? Heck, they could pull.
See, that's how it gets mixed up, man. South Bend's not the region. That's the Michiana area. The region is Northwest Indiana.
Now, the region claims Penn when Penn's really good. When Penn wins state, they're like, oh yeah, they're region.
Penn's good. Nah, man. If someone's telling you, that means that they're not really region. That's just semi-state.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's weird how that happens. I know Southside and Muncie Central went through that. So I know AJ Bradley, big contributor to the board, was part of that, where they closed down Southside, who had a lot of tradition also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Memorial used to be a hammer. I was looking at some of the results, and they probably weren't where they want to be, but Memorial used to be really good.
Yeah, no, that's it's going to be interesting. I think Coach Whitcar does a good job at Elkhart Central. He's a teacher, so which it gives him a little bit, I think, of a heads up on the head coaching job, but he's not, you're trying to combine staffs. You don't want to, you got to, and I think the Elkhart Memorial staff doesn't, they do a solid job. I think not being in the building probably hurts them a little bit, recruiting athletes and stuff. So it's going to be very interesting. I mean, it's just going to, I think they said even something like the freshman campus is going to be at, I can't remember what school is going to be the main high school, but I think they're going to have like a freshman campus. It's going to be at, say, like Elkhart Memorial, whichever school they're not, then the other campus is going to be 10 through 12. So they're going to have to try to bus all these middle school kids over there from, those high school kids, 8th, 9th graders over for practice and stuff every day. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see how that works out, and some things going on there. So definitely something to keep an eye on. I mean, since it will be the last year of.
How are they like attendance wise? Are they both like medium sized schools or?
No, they are both 1,600 and they're both about 1,600. So there's going to be 3,200 kids. That's a big school.
That's gonna be a little culture change for those guys.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's going to put them pretty high up on the board. Let's see. Enrollments and classifications. Shoot, I didn't want that one. Let's see. Where's it? Enrollments baseball. Might as well call it baseball. 3,600. We'll put them at number 5 in the state. So they're going to bump Carroll down a little bit.
Like I said, it's happening in the region also, where I think it's going to be weird, man. I think, I've always known a Hammond Gavitt. Now you're not going to have that. So I'm wondering how they're going to split that school district up. Because, I mean, Gavitt's pretty close to Munster. Maybe they have some Flogo there, or maybe they combine it with Morton. Maybe a school like Bishop Noel kind of benefits from some of that with, being in Hammond also. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Same thing with Clark. Right up down there on Whiting, and those are two schools that have been there forever. I mean, I want to say Clark was. I'm pretty sure they won a state championship, like maybe in the 50s.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty. There might be a website for that.
No, I'm getting ready to go there now. I know that they were, but I mean, I'm not sure. I see it. I see people share it. I haven't even. That's me being lazy. I haven't even read the articles.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of people that, man.
Hammond won in the 60s. Hammond Clark won in 1938. A state title.
1930. A little bit before, I was thinking.
Yeah. Hammond dominated 30. Hammond won 35, 36, and 37. 38, Clark took over, and then Hammond won last in 62 and 63 when they were held at Southport High School. Way back in the day. I can pull the brackets up there over here if you want to take a look at them.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good. But yeah, just one of those things like there's never been a time. I'm sure they felt the same way about Muncie Southside when they closed it down. Muncie Southside was really good in the 80s. That wasn't even that far before. They were out there competing with Delta, and they shut that down. So.
Yeah. Oh, what's this? I always love getting messages during the show. Random things.
They said you guys are terrible. Shut it down.
Yes. Why are you just keep talking? So, any other? I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna probably maybe try to get that tweet out for the voting this week earlier, so that we can get more votes on there. Maybe Monday through Wednesday, then Wednesday through Friday for the finals. I think this week is going to be interesting with 25-26. Any other pieces of information for this week other than don't eat too much to the wrestlers, so you screw up our rankings because you don't want to cut weight?
No. If you're competing, keep it under control. If you're finished your career and you're in the archives now and you're not competing, enjoy this, man, because this is a time that at some point during your life you probably didn't get to enjoy this. So enjoy the holiday. Yes,
it is. Yeah, enjoy it while we can. With that, we're going to let you guys go on our take 2 of episode 72. I gotta have 72. So we will be back next Sunday night. Hopefully some more information and such. So everyone have a great Thanksgiving, and make sure you report your results, and you do and just post on the board, talk some trash, have some fun. So we'll talk to you guys later.
Keep it clean though. Keep it clean.
Yes, yes, yes.